Elizabeth, you have a long experience in the healthcare sector in many areas. Many scholars have said that managing a general hospital would be definitely the most complicated kind of organization. Even Mies Bergman said even the most complicated corporation, to manage the most complicated corporation would be a child's game compared to managing a general hospital. So based on your experience, what kind of skills actually are required by leaders to navigate such a complex environment?
Well, first of all, Federico, I would agree with it 100%. Because managing a hospital is one of the most challenging things that I think I've ever done in my entire life, and I never thought it would be that way. I thought it would be a child's game. I think that you need to be able to combine a lot of skills to be a good manager, to draw on all experiences that you've ever had, even from your childhood. One of the major things that you need to do, though, is to know how to really deal with people, to get to the basis of what moves them. Because in hospitals, people are intrinsically motivated. So you have to understand how they tick and where their heart is. So that's one of the things, to allow natural empathy to come through and to be very curious. And I think the other skill is to be analytical. So you're always juggling this balance of nearness and distance, this balance of emotions and analysis. So I think it's important to have that, to be able to take yourself away from the situation, to view what you're doing as if you were a passive observer, but at the same time to bring your own passions and emotions into your decisions so that it's like a maneuver in sailing. It's clear, it's on time, and it's definitive.
You've always been on the edge in the healthcare sector as an entrepreneur, as a consultant, as a manager. So if you have to say why in such a complex environment, as you just told us, will anyone embark and develop his career and try to find actually his development? So yeah. Why healthcare and not other sectors?
Well, you know, I've tried a couple of other sectors, and you know, there are certain ways that you can look back on your own story and you can say, oh my gosh, so indecisive, couldn't find a home. Or you can say curious and wanting to find out more and to push the edge. And for me, it was always important for my own personal development to find a job, a sector, a task that challenged me. And healthcare is one of the most challenging professions that I know of. It's intellectual, it's emotional, it's cutting edge also in terms of technology. And so that's why healthcare is just, for me, it's an obvious choice.
Yeah, thank you. So, given the fact that after this interview you're going to meet the MIHMEP students, also the students of our Master in International Healthcare Management Policy and Economics. So they are the alumni, and some of them aspire to become the next generation of leaders in healthcare. So, given again your long experience, what were the tips that you will suggest to them in order to develop quickly and become really an effective leaders or managers in this field?
Don't play a role. Be authentic. That's rule number one. There are too many people that they consider life to be a stage and they play a role instead of being the person that they are. So that's number one. The second thing is to look for challenges or to recognize challenges when they're there, because they are there every day. And to be accepting and grateful. I think that gratitude in life is important. It creates a bit of humility. And I think it's sad sometimes when I see people who are really at the beginning of their career and they want to change the world, and they forget to be thankful that they have that opportunity. And so I think if you can balance these things, I think balance is really sort of the key to it, to balance these things, but remain hungry, remain curious, and get enough sleep.
So talking about balance, the last question is in the Masters, in the kind of programs that we manage here, we try to teach them both hard and soft skills. It's always a difficult situation to find a balance between how much focus on one on the other side. You told us about the fact that people management or relationship with professionals is a key ingredient of leadership in healthcare. So again, what would be your suggestion about what focus actually you think next generation leaders should have compared to actually what leaders had in the past in healthcare? How is it changing the social media, the new environment, and how actually you see the future scenario?
You know, I grew up in a world where mathematics played a very, very big role. I'm a trained econometrician, which means that statistics are my life, but more relationships, complex relationships. And for me, the most wonderful thing that happened was when I learned about chaos theory in mathematics, and so neural networks, because that adopted my thinking from old school static to new school relationships. And I think this balance, again, that word, is extremely important. So I would say, don't forget the analytical skills that you need, because they also help in the abstraction of problems, to map problems. That's an extremely important attribute that managers need to have. So I would say, definitely some of these analytical skills. Social media, you know, I was one of the first people that hired a blogger instead of a press secretary. Because I think it's so much more important to adapt our communication styles and the medium to the readers. And so I think that plays an enormous role. So unlike many of my colleagues, I advise people, put your message on Facebook, put your message on LinkedIn. I don't know if I'm supposed to do product placement here, but those are the two that I use the most, or Instagram or Twitter. Because that's what people are reading, that's what people live. And don't be worried about the storms of bad news or what might happen. Just live your life so that you can stand the transparency, but monitor everything going on.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.